primary focus will be, but then you never know. That's the thing with these contests, is to have a first-time person be able to come in and go on a run, or yes, will Aliyah
Seattle, a sold-out night under the bright arena lights. Over 18,000 voices roaring as the Fever walked onto the court. A young team with momentum, confidence, and a mission. The Indiana Fever weren't just chasing another win. They were chasing respect. From the very first possession, the tone was clear. Seattle came out strong, crashing the boards, feeding off their home crowd. McDonald found Howard for an easy finish. The Storm were rolling. But the Fever? They didn't flinch. Kelsey Mitchell called for the screen. The ball zipped around the perimeter. 5 touches, 5 decisions. Until Aliyah Boston found the open cutter inside. Layup. Poetry in motion. Indiana wasn't just playing basketball. They were playing together. Then came the defense. The grit that doesn't show up in headlines but wins games. A deflection. A loose ball. Boston diving, Cunningham saving, McDonald running. In one sequence, the Fever showed exactly who they are. Heart, hustle, and hunger. Early on, the Storm looked fresher. But Indiana looked fearless. Boston commanding inside, directing traffic like a point guard trapped in a center's body. Nobody in the league, at her size, does what she does. Every pass had intent. Every rebound had fire. Then Sophie Cunningham entered the frame. Backdoor cuts. Elbow jumpers. Then the dagger. A 3 from deep that froze the Seattle crowd. You could feel the silence start to creep in. Sophie wasn't just playing. She was feeling the game. The mic picked her up during the huddle. They're long, they're athletic, but the weak side's wide open. As long as we keep the ball popping, we'll find our shots. And she was right. The ball was moving. The Fever were flowing. The scoreboard told one story, but the energy in the building told another. Then chaos. A wild sequence to end the first half. Mitchell with the steal. The ball slips. McDonald scoops. Boston finishes. The crowd gasps. The bench erupts. It wasn't pretty, but it was perfect. Indiana walked into halftime up 8, battle-tested and fearless. Second half, same fire, new challenge. Seattle tightened the defense, switched every screen, tried to trap McDonald. But Indiana adjusted. Cunningham, again, from the corner. Bang! Her third 3 of the game. She couldn't miss. And when the Fever needed composure, Boston provided it. Posting up, spinning, finishing through contact. Double-double. Again. That's leadership without words. Dominance with grace. On the other side, Diggin Smith tried to rally the Storm. Fast breaks, floaters, jumpers. But the Fever stayed calm. McDonald answered every push with a drive. A steal, a bucket. This was a team effort. Everyone had a moment. Bibby's smart passes. Hull's rebounding hustle. Howard's perfect cuts. Every player left fingerprints on this win. But one story stood out. Kelsey Mitchell. It wasn't her night. 1 for 10 from the field. Nothing was falling. But great players don't disappear. They endure. Late in the fourth, with everything on the line, Mitchell called for the ball. Isolation. Step. Cross. Burst. Contact. Bucket. And one. That's the kind of play that defines seasons. Not when you're hot, but when you refuse to cool off. Moments later, Seattle's last push came up short. The crowd tried to will them back, but Indiana had already taken control. Boston and McDonald ran one last fast break. A bounce, a finish, and the dagger. Timeout Seattle. But it was already over. The Fever bench jumped, hugging, smiling. 5 straight wins. 5 straight nights rewriting their story. This isn't the same Indiana team people doubted. This is the rise. The chemistry. The belief. From the rookies to the veterans, from the struggles to the streak, the Indiana Fever have found something real, something dangerous, something that feels like destiny. Caitlin Clark may be the face of the future, Aliyah Boston, the foundation, but nights like this, they belong to everyone. As the final buzzer echoed through Seattle, 18,000 fans sat stunned, watching a young team take another step toward greatness. The Fever didn't just win in Seattle. They announced themselves. They believed louder. They stayed hot. Fire 5 straight. Full team effort. One message. Indiana Fever are coming. 5 in a row. But this one felt different, because it wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was about evolution. Every pass, every loose ball, every defensive stop in Seattle felt like another piece of the puzzle falling into place. The Fever are no longer a team searching for identity. They've found it. It's unselfish. It's unbreakable. It's together. Caitlin Clark on the sideline, cheering louder than anyone. Boston commanding the huddle, teaching, leading. Mitchell nodding, locking in. Cunningham grinning, because she can feel what's happening. This is what growth looks like. A team that once struggled to close out games now walking into every arena believing they belong. No moment too big. No stage too loud. Seattle tried to rattle them. The lights, the crowd, the pressure. But Indiana met it with composure. Boston slowed the tempo. McDonald controlled the pace. The passes were crisp, the spacing perfect. Every possession was art and heart. And when the final seconds ticked away, the scoreboard said Fever 5th straight win. But what it really said was something bigger. This team has arrived. Because 5 straight isn't luck. It's layers of sacrifice. It's the late nights, the film sessions, the rehab days. It's a group of women who refuse to fold when the world expected them to. They've been doubted, dismissed, overlooked. But every streak starts with a spark. And this one? It's a blaze. Aliyah Boston, the engine, the anchor, the heartbeat. Proving again why she's one of the most complete players in the league. Her strength in the post. Her patience with the pass. Her leadership through silence. She's not chasing stats. She's building a standard. Kelsey Mitchell, resilient. Even when the shots don't fall, she finds another way. Defends harder. Cuts sharper. Drives bolder. And when her moment came, she didn't hesitate. She finished. Ari McDonald fearless. Speed, control, passion. She's a spark that changes games in seconds. Every drive says the same thing. We're not backing down. And Sophie Cunningham, the fire in the middle of it all. Her threes, her energy, her confidence, contagious. The kind of presence that ignites a locker room and silences a crowd. Together, they've turned potential into power. And this win, this 5th straight statement, feels like the start of something much bigger. Because this isn't just about one night in Seattle. This is about everything they've built from the ground up. Every loss that taught them how to fight. Every headline that said, maybe next year. And every fan who kept believing anyway. Now the league is watching. Now every arena knows. If the Fever are on the schedule, you better be ready for a war. They've gone from rebuilding to rising. From learning to leading. From hope to heat. 5 straight. And still climbing. The Fever are finding their voice. And they're saying it loud and clear. We're not done yet. Because this is just the beginning of a new era. The Indiana Fever. A team reborn. Fire together. Relentless. Unstoppable.